There is a dangerous moment in every society, not when enemies arrive, not when wars begin, but when a people become so confident in their strength that they stop listening. This story begins in such a moment, in a village that believed nothing could break it. The village of Obina had rules older than memory. Strength was respected, silence was admired, obedience was survival. Children learned early that questions were dangerous. Women learned early that endurance was love. Men learned early that fear must never be seen. And for generations, the village survived, so they assumed they were right. When a system works long enough, people stop asking why it works. Tradition becomes truth. Repetition becomes righteousness. And eventually, no one remembers who the rules were meant to protect. Izinwa was the perfect product of Obina. Tall, controlled, unapologetic. He did not shout often, because he didn't need to. His presence alone bent conversations. People said, "He is strong. He is disciplined. He is the kind of man villages are built on." But strength has a shadow, and Izinwa never looked behind him. As a boy, Izinwa watched his father hesitate. Once, that single hesitation cost the family respect. The village never forgot. Neither did Izinwa. From that day, he made a promise. "I will never pause. I will never soften. I will never bend." And promises like that always demand payment. The elders noticed it first. How he speaks to his household, they whispered. How quickly his anger arrives. But the harvest was good. The village was peaceful. So they ignored the discomfort. Because warning signs are easy to dismiss. When nothing has gone wrong yet, then the name Adama began to circulate. Not loudly, not publicly, just enough to make people lower their voices. Because Adama was not trouble. Trouble announces itself. She was something far more dangerous. She was calm, and calm things, in a world built on force, tend to change everything. The woman the gods were watching. The village believed strength was everything. Izinwa believed it most of all. And then, Adama arrived. Adama did not enter Obina like a storm. She entered like dawn. Slow, gentle, unavoidable. She spoke little, but when she did, people leaned in. She laughed rarely, but when she smiled, tension dissolved. Children trusted her instantly. Animals lingered near her longer than usual. And men felt unsettled, not because she was dangerous, but because she was untouched by fear. Human societies are comfortable with loud threats. What they fear most are quiet disruptions. A woman who doesn't panic. A person who doesn't beg. Someone who refuses to perform weakness. Adama didn't challenge the system. She simply didn't belong to it. People noticed patterns. The man who once promised to marry her fell ill before the ceremony. Another suitor lost his farm mysteriously. No one accused her openly. That would require evidence. Instead, they did something far more powerful. They whispered, "She is unlucky. She carries something behind her." Some women are not meant to belong to men. And slowly, the village decided to be careful around her. Adama heard the whispers. Of course she did. But she did not defend herself. She had learned long ago that innocence does not argue. Instead, she focused on survival. She worked. She helped. She stayed quiet. And at night, she dreamed. Dreams where water rose without flooding. Dreams where voices called her name gently, but insistently. She never told anyone, because some truths do not sound sane out loud. Izinwa noticed her the way hunters notice silence. Late, and instinctively. At first, it annoyed him. She didn't rush when he approached. She didn't lower her eyes. She didn't shrink. She treated him. Normally, that should have ended it. But something about that calm felt like a challenge. Izinwa told himself it was curiosity. But curiosity doesn't tighten the chest. He told himself it was attraction. But attraction doesn't feel like unease. What he felt was something else. A loss of control. And that frightened him. The elders advised caution. Ask questions, they said. Observe. Not everything calm is safe. Izinwa listened politely, then ignored them completely. Because to him, hesitation looked like weakness. And weakness had already destroyed one generation of men in his family. He would not allow it again. When people confuse fearlessness with wisdom, they make irreversible choices quickly. Not because they are sure, but because slowing down feels like losing. The marriage was swift. No long consultations. No deep spiritual inquiries. Just ceremony. The village watched. Some hopeful, some nervous, some silent. Adama became Izinwa's wife. And for a moment, everything seemed fine. Then small things began to shift. Not disasters, just distortions. Izinwa started waking before dawn, restless. Adama grew quieter, heavier in spirit. The household felt tense without conflict. And then came the dreams. Izinwa dreamed of standing on solid ground that slowly turned to ash beneath his feet. He dismissed it. Dreams, after all, are for weak minds. Izinwa loved Adama. In his own way, he provided, he protected, he commanded. But love, to him, was something to be organized. When she questioned, he corrected. When she hesitated, he insisted. When she warned, he dismissed. Because listening felt like surrender. What Izinwa didn't realize was that the village had stopped whispering. They had started watching. Because when patterns repeat long enough, people stop doubting them. And somewhere beyond the village, something ancient stirred. Not angry, not rushed, just awake. Because Adama's heart had finally chosen a place to rest. And whatever had claimed her long ago was ready to collect. When tradition becomes a weapon, every system has a purpose. But when fear enters the system, purpose slowly transforms into control. And control always demands obedience. Inside Izinwa's compound, life followed rules. Strict ones, meals at fixed times, silence during anger, agreement without debate. At first, Adama adapted. She had survived worse than rules. But survival is not the same as living. Her voice softened further. Her laughter disappeared. Her dreams grew heavier. And Izinwa mistook this for harmony. In rigid systems, compliance often looks like peace. But what it really is pressure moving inward. One evening, Adama finally spoke. Not loudly, not emotionally. I think something is wrong. Izinwa didn't ask what. He laughed softly. Nothing is wrong, he said. You worry too much. And with that sentence, the last open door quietly closed. That night, Adama understood something terrifying. She was not unsafe. She was unheard. And unheard people are the most vulnerable of all. Outside the compound, things changed too. A child collapsed during a festival. A hunter returned empty-handed 3 days in a row. The rains arrived late, then stopped. Nothing catastrophic, just enough to unsettle people. The elders met again. This feels familiar, one of them said quietly. Like a story we were warned about. Traditional societies often recognize patterns, long before they understand causes. Stories exist not as superstition, but as compressed warnings. The elders approached Izinwa gently. They suggested consultations, offerings, reflection. Izinwa listened politely, then rejected every word. Fear has no place in leadership, he said. If we start bowing to shadows, we teach the young to tremble. The elders exchanged glances. This was no longer confidence. This was defiance. At home, Izinwa tightened his grip. He questioned Adama's movements, dismissed her silences, interpreted her caution as disloyalty. He believed order was slipping, and order, once threatened, must be reinforced. But here is the dangerous truth. When people feel control slipping, they rarely let go. They double down. Adama grew ill, not dramatically, quietly. Her strength faded. Her sleep broke into fragments. Her dreams became louder. She saw water again, but this time, it pulled. The human body reacts to environments. Long before the mind admits danger, stress doesn't shout. It drains. The priests were consulted at last. They spoke carefully. There is a bond here, they said. Older than marriage. Older than this village. Izinwa heard only accusation. And accusation felt like insult. He dismissed them, because accepting their words would mean accepting limits. That night, Adama wept openly for the first time. Not loudly, not desperately, just enough to be human. Izinwa stood outside the room and listened. And then, he walked away, because turning back would mean facing fear. And fear was the one thing he refused to carry. From that moment on, the gods stopped sending signs. They stopped warning, because warnings are only given to those willing to listen. What came next would not be symbolic. It would be final. The war no one can see. Every tragedy has a moment when it could still be avoided. Not easily, not comfortably, but possibly. This story passed that moment quietly. Adama was with child. The news spread quickly. Some rejoiced, some stiffened, because children are never just children in villages like Obina. They are symbols. They are futures. They are consequences. Izinwa felt pride surge through him. A son he hoped. Proof that nothing was wrong. proof that strength still worked. When belief systems are challenged, people search for confirmation, and few things feel more confirming than new life. But the village did not relax. The pregnancy was difficult. Adama weakened faster than expected. The dreams returned, stronger. She dreamed of hands reaching from water. Not violent, not angry, waiting. She told Izinwa at last, "This child is not only yours." Izinwa's face hardened. "There is nothing beyond what we allow," he replied. Izinwa believed power meant ownership. But the universe operates on agreements. And some agreements are older than pride. The elders gathered one last time. This time, they were not cautious. They were afraid. "There are bonds made before birth," the oldest said. "Some lives are shared. Some must be released." The solution was clear. Painful, costly, but survivable. A ritual of separation. Letting go. Izinwa refused. Not angrily, calmly, because calm refusal feels righteous. "I will not give up my wife," he said. "I will not surrender my child. I will not teach my household to kneel." The elders understood. This was no longer ignorance. This was pride, and pride does not negotiate. In every rigid system, there is a breaking threshold. Beyond it, adaptation is impossible. Only collapse remains. The night the child came, the air was still. Too still. The birth was long, exhausting, silent. When the child finally cried, the sound did not comfort anyone, because it did not sound like arrival. It sounded like protest. The baby survived. Barely. He refused food, cried endlessly, slept in fragments. No herbs helped. No prayers lasted. Adama held him constantly. Her strength drained faster. It was as if life itself was negotiating with something unseen. The priests returned. Their words were no longer careful. "This child is torn between worlds," they said. "What is claimed must be released." And finally, Izinwa hesitated. But hesitation, when delayed, is no longer choice. It is regret in preparation. The ritual was arranged. But before it could begin, the child fell silent. No cry, no movement, just stillness. Adama did not scream. She simply closed her eyes, and something inside her went with the child. The village mourned, but mourning assumes survival. What followed was not grief. It was unraveling, because when fate is denied long enough, it collects interest. Why everything fell apart. Tragedy does not end with noise. It ends with silence. The kind that stays. The compound was quiet. Too quiet. No crying child. No footsteps. No arguments. Adama lay still most days. Not asleep. Not awake. Just present. Izinwa moved like a stranger in his own home. The man who once filled rooms with certainty now avoided them altogether. When systems collapse, the people who upheld them are often the least prepared to survive the aftermath. One evening, Adama finally spoke. Her voice was calm, not angry, not broken, just clear. "I was never meant to stay." Izinwa froze. She explained the dreams, the pull, the promise made before her birth. "I tried to warn you," she said, "but you were fighting a war I never joined." This was the moment Izinwa understood. Not that he had lost, but that he had been fighting the wrong enemy the entire time. The elders returned. No demands this time, only instructions. Adama must be released fully, not as punishment, not as shame, but as restoration. The ritual was completed at dawn. No spectacle, no drama, just acceptance. When it ended, Adama collapsed peacefully and did not rise again. Some lives are not taken, they are returned. Izinwa did not cry, not then. He sat alone for days. The village watched from a distance, because fallen pillars are unsettling to look at. Eventually, Izinwa spoke, not to the elders, not to the gods, to himself. "I did everything right." And that was the problem. Strength without listening becomes violence. Tradition without wisdom becomes cruelty. Control without humility becomes isolation. Izinwa had obeyed the rules perfectly, but the rules were incomplete. One morning, Izinwa walked beyond the village boundary. He did not take weapons. He did not announce himself. By nightfall, he was gone. No body was found. No explanation offered. And the village understood. Some men do not survive the collapse of certainty. Obina survived, but it was not the same. The elders rewrote customs. Questions were allowed. Listening became strength. Stories were told differently, not to glorify power, but to warn against it. This story is not about gods, or curses, or ancient villages. It is about us. about what happens when we confuse rigidity for strength, when we silence warnings instead of understanding them, when we choose pride over adaptation. Because things don't fall apart all at once. They fall apart quietly, until there's nothing left to save. And the most dangerous words a society can ever say are, "We've always done it this way."